Hey guys, today we're going to talk about landing pages and wireframing. So, landing pages, we all know that. Most D2C brands scale through custom landing page journeys. This is something we see all the time in Purple Fire. Clients coming to us asking us to do their landing pages, or they're struggling because they're not converting. So I thought this would be a really good topic for a new video, and also some of the ideas and the methods we used in order to come up with like game-changing landing pages for our clients. So I'm just going to dive straight into it here. What I've actually done, which you can get access to, and you can click the link in the description to get all these wireframes, is I've created a few templates of winning landing pages that we're using all the time for our clients, for ourselves, and so on. And as you can see here, there are many different ones. And these are the ones we've just seen convert super well. And you know, they're not very long, as you can see, they're quite short, but that's because you can basically duplicate the setup and add more content if you want longer landing pages. And I will dive into exactly when you should be using longer landing pages and when you should be using shorter ones. That's really important. So instead of just going through all these, let's dive into some of the actual data and some of the stuff you need to understand before you're ready to even start designing the landing pages. What you really have to understand in the beginning is hierarchies. You know, if you don't have enough information, nobody will convert, and actually they will just feel like you're not trustworthy. You know, they will be irritated. They'll be like, what is this? You know, it's just that you can get away with that, but you have to understand what you're trying to sell. Is it a product that requires a lot of information, or is it a product that, you know, is for free? It's just a little bit of a resource. You don't need to have a lot of information. Actually, it will hurt you to have a massive landing page. But you could also add too much information to a product that is too simple. And you know, let's say you're selling something for less than $100, right? And you create this huge landing page. It takes 10 minutes to actually go through everything, and you added ingredient lists, and you've added in lots of information that think will help convince them to buy the product. But it might be a product that doesn't require a lot of information. You know, they're just basically ready to buy when they see that it looks great. So you will actually get them feeling overwhelmed, paralyzed, because there's so much data to digest and analyze. And what we see actually in the brain is the release of cortisol, meaning that they will feel stressed, they will feel overwhelmed, and they will also be afraid that if they don't understand everything on the page, they might be committing to something that they shouldn't be. You know how when we get a contract and it's like 30 pages and you're supposed to read it all? Nobody reads it, but we feel bad about it, because what if we're signing up for something we actually don't want? So understanding the amount of information needed for the product, and if it's high risk, low risk, is really important. Then you also have to understand that there is informational hierarchy, which is content related. There's the visual hierarchy, which is images, videos, and all that stuff. And then there's transactional hierarchy, which are the actions you want people to take. If you see any landing page, we can go back here, how there's some buttons that are bigger than others, you'll clearly understand that from this landing page right here, this button that says relevant CTA is clearly the number one action we want people to take. So you're not concerned. This button is the same, but it's further down. So you understand that this is the main CTA. This is where you want to click. And it's really important you understand visual hierarchy when you're designing your landing pages too. If you had a button here, and then you had another button right under here, almost the same size, then a lot of customers would be really confused whether they should click on one button or another one, right? So you really want to make sure that your visual hierarchy is presented in the right way. And the way you do that is clearly making the number one action the biggest button, the brightest button, the one that actually sticks out, and then supporting CTAs, let's say that it's to sign up for a free demo or something that you also kind of want the customer to do, but it's not so important because it's not buy now, right? You want to make those buttons smaller and less like in your face, right? So that's how you do visual hierarchy. But what you should start with, you should make a Google Sheet. Let's say you want to do a landing page, and you should write down, who am I trying to communicate with? What's my avatar for the specific funnel I'm trying to create? What is it I want them to do on this landing page? What step in the ADA funnel are they in right now? And we can get into ADA a little bit later, but that's really important because you need to understand where are they right now. So where do they actually sit on this awareness scale when they hit your landing page? It's really important you understand what your traffic source is, because if you're sending traffic to a landing page and it's all warm, like let's say they have been to a presentation and the only way they can get access to your landing page is by clicking on the link in that presentation, then they're already warm because you already explained a lot to them and they might be closer to buying, which will suggest that you need less information in order to convince them to buy. But if you're running cold traffic from TikTok straight out over to a landing page, it will not work if you just click buy now. You need to have a bit more of supporting content and arguments to convince them to buy, right? So understanding where they are is really, really important. Now, I already talked a little bit about that as well, but you need to understand how complex your product is. Are you selling toothpaste? Are you selling a TV? If you're selling toothpaste, the complexity is super low. The risk for a lot of people will be super low, which means the amount of content you need should also be low. As we can see in this graph right here, low complexity effort risk means amount of content equals to very little here. But if it's super high, let's say you're selling insurance or cars, then you really need to make sure that you have social proof, credibility, you need to have videos, you need to have a lot of supporting arguments and so on. So write down as well how complex your product is, and then you will understand how much content you need. This is so easy. And you might fall in the middle and say, okay, then I need a little bit more content. We will actually release a tool in the future where you can write in your perceived complexity for your product, and it will show landing pages that are in the same category. So that's a tool we're working on, which will help you a lot later down the line. Now, once you've understood all these questions, you'll have a super good feel for the amount of content and so on, and you can get a little bit closer to actually building your landing page. And this is really important. I want to just say that when you start building your landing page, don't overcomplicate it, but be aware of the things that I just talked to you about, and you will do really well. As it also says down here, building a logical information hierarchy is like creating a storyline. It's like a fairy tale. It needs to have an introduction. It needs to have, an area like a climax, an area where you sell the product, and so on. And so try to think of a storyline when you create a landing page, and that should be super helpful. Now, going back to the landing pages, let's say we understand now our traffic source, who we are communicating to, our avatar. We understand how complex our product is. Now you could shop around for these wireframes that we've done, and you can see which one is appropriate for you, right? And I would say that if you're selling, let's say, access to a course or something, you could go with something like this, where you actually have a sign-up form, which would then take you through an email flow. That could be quite nice. Because when you sell a course or a digital product, it can be a tough sell to say, buy right now on your landing page. What you might want to do is say, here's a sneak peek of my course. I just need you to sign up, and I will send you the first module for free. And then you can see if it's something for you. And if you like it, there will be an access link where you can go in and buy the rest. That's such a good way to sell a course versus just saying, it's $500, come here and buy it. And you have all the supporting information. Usually that will only work if you have a very warm audience where you've already given them free stuff. They've already touched points with you about 8 or 9 times, and then they're ready to buy, right? So if I had a course and this is the first time I'm sending cold traffic, I might do something like this: good headline, supporting bullets, and then just quick information here. So it might say get the first module for free, and then some of the things you will learn, and then a relevant, name, email, phone number. Phone number is even optional. You could take that out and you'll see higher click-through rates and so on. But the leads will be better if you add phone number. That would be supporting content. But if you're not happy with this, you could also go in and say, I'm going to take this module out and I want to do social proof first. And you could add it up here and obviously just go through like moving everything around. And then you might also take this module here because you were like, I want a little bit more social proof before I go into the next step. You can just move things around just like you want. Super easy with this drag and drop. It's super, I would call it low tech, but it works so well because it's what you need in order to visualize the first part of your journey when you're doing wireframing. So I'm just randomly changing things here, but as you can see, if I feel like I want a bit more social proof and content, I can move my headline down there. Likewise, there are other ones up here. I love this one. We use it all the time for clients. This one we use a lot for e-commerce, D2C brands. So we'll have a hero up here, a nice video that sort of gets people excited. And then some bullet points. This is above the fold, by the way, with some like 3 reasons why they should consider the product. And then this button here will be a scroll button down to the product section. It won't be like buy now. It'll just be like see more or start your free trial, or it could be anything like that. Then we'll do social proof, and then we'll do reason 1 why you should buy, reason 2, reason 3, reason 4. You could do 7 reasons. And then there will be a buy button, or there will be a link to a product page on any page where you can actually buy the product. So this one works super well as a listicle for D2C, and we use it all the time. This one we use as well, which is a great one for SaaS products, just to get a sign up, or course products, again with the relevant form. So that works really well. This one we use all the time for D2C, Ecom as well. You will have in your big value prop headline here, which is why you should actually buy, and then some subtext, context to why again, and again a scroll button, and then it can be reason 1, reason 2, which works really well. Here you're basically convincing people, and the more complex your product is, the more content you want. So if it's super low complex, we might just do 1 or 2, and that's it. And then there can be a buy section here. But if it's super complex, we might do 7 reasons why, or we might do free information, a taster, a foot in the door, before we actually ask for the money, right? So this is really helpful. So anyway, this is a little bit about wireframing, what you should go with, what kind of questions you should be asking before you start creating your landing page, how much information you need, take this all into account. And you can then use the wireframes you see here. We'll be adding more as well, because there's a lot more that can be used. And you can simply just download the resources in the description. It'll take you to ConvertKit. You just need to put your email. That's it. It won't spam you. And then you will just get access to all this. So hopefully that works, guys. We'll speak to you soon, and bye.